Anchorage sits at the top of Cook Inlet in south-central Alaska, wedged between the water and the Chugach Mountains at about 61 degrees north. It is the far north made accessible. This is Alaska's only real city. Around 290,000 people live here, and the metro area holds close to 400,000, more than half of everyone in the state. Put another way, roughly 40% of Alaskans live in this one municipality. Everywhere else in the state is smaller, more remote, and harder to reach. The city is enormous on paper. Its boundaries cover about 1,700 square miles, making it one of the largest cities by area in the entire country. That size tells you something important. Anchorage is spread out, low-rise, and built around cars, not a dense, walkable core you can explore on foot. Here's the honest framing. Anchorage itself is not a beautiful city. It is functional, a little utilitarian, and most people do not come for the downtown. What they come for is everything around it. Half-million-acre wilderness parks, glaciers, whales, and moose all sit within minutes of ordinary city streets. Moose genuinely wander residential yards here. Belugas surface in the inlet along the edge of town, and the mountains start where the pavement ends. So think of Anchorage as a base camp rather than a destination. It is the launch point for the Kenai Peninsula, Denali, Seward, and Prince William Sound. The visitor who gets the most from Anchorage is outdoors-minded. Hikers, wildlife watchers, photographers, and anyone building a broader Alaska trip around a reliable hub. The trip length math is simple. 2 or 3 days covers Anchorage itself, then use it as a base for another 4 to 7 days of day trips. One more caveat before we go further. Summer here is short, busy, and expensive, and the city carries higher crime numbers than its size would suggest. None of that should scare you off. It just means Anchorage rewards planning more than wandering, and this guide is built to help you plan. Almost everyone arrives through Ted Stevens Anchorage International Airport, a major domestic hub that also handles a growing number of seasonal international flights. The airport sits remarkably close to town. It is only about 4 miles or a 20-minute drive from the downtown hotel zone. Fares swing wildly by season and origin. We have seen round trips as low as around $130 and as high as $1,400 in peak summer. If you are flying from the lower 48, book early for summer. June through August is when both flights and hotels hit their yearly ceiling. Getting from the airport to downtown is easy. A taxi runs roughly $30 to $50, and Uber or Lyft usually lands closer to $20 to $30. There is a budget option too. The People Mover bus, Route 40, connects the airport to downtown for about $2, though it is slow. For most visitors, none of that is the real answer. The real answer is a rental car, and Anchorage is built entirely around having one. Here is the car verdict in one line. Helpful downtown, essential everywhere else, especially for the day trips that are the whole point of basing here. Downtown Anchorage is the exception to the car rule. It is compact and walkable, with most restaurants and sites within a 10 to 15-minute stroll. Step outside that core, though, and the city turns car-dependent fast. Midtown, the trailheads, and the day trip highways all assume you are driving. Public transit exists, but is limited. The People Mover bus network is adequate for basic trips, with a single ride around $2 and a day pass near $5. If you are staying a week, the passes add up nicely. A weekly pass runs about $26 and a monthly around $60. There is no subway or light rail here. For a city this spread out, buses are the entire public transit story, and they run infrequently. Rideshare fills the gaps well. Uber and Lyft both operate across Anchorage, and a typical in-town ride is short, quick, and reasonably priced. The more interesting way out of the city is by rail. The Alaska Railroad runs right from the downtown depot to some of the state's best scenery. 3 routes matter most. The Coastal Classic drops you in Seward, the Denali Star climbs toward Denali and Fairbanks, and the Glacier Discovery reaches Whittier. If you would rather not drive the highways, motor coaches cover the same ground. The Park Connection service links Anchorage to Denali, Seward, Whittier, and Talkeetna daily in summer. Anchorage has no ferry terminal of its own, but the water is close. The Alaska Marine Highway System sails from Whittier and Homer, both reachable by road or rail. A quick note for drivers: roads are generally good, fuel is cheaper than you might expect for Alaska, but winter ice and roaming moose are real seasonal hazards. Anchorage really has 3 hotel zones worth knowing, and picking the right one depends mostly on whether you plan to walk or drive. Downtown is the first and best choice for most first-time visitors. It puts you within walking distance of the museum, the coastal trail, restaurants, and the summer market. The downtown zone is where the recognizable names cluster. The Marriott, the Sheraton, the Hilton, and the historic Hotel Captain Cook all anchor these few walkable blocks. Downtown's pro is obvious. You can park the rental car for a day and explore the compact core entirely on foot, which is rare in Anchorage. The downtown con is price. This zone commands the highest nightly rates in the city, especially during the short and crowded summer peak. Midtown is the second zone, a few miles south along the main commercial corridor. It is where a lot of the reliable mid-price chains sit. Midtown trades walkability for value and position. You will drive most places, but rates run lower, and you are central for reaching trailheads and the highway out of town. The third zone is Spenard, the quirky stretch between downtown and the airport, near Lake Hood and its floatplane base. It has real character. Spenard's appeal is practical and cultural at once. It is convenient for early flights and day trips, and it holds some of the city's most beloved local restaurants. Now, the rates, and a warning that comes with them. Anchorage hotel pricing is deeply seasonal, so these summer peak numbers drop sharply in shoulder and winter months. At the low end, budget hotels in peak summer often start around $150 to $210 a night. Mid-range and upscale properties climb well past that in July. Expect roughly $250 to over $500 a night at the summer peak. Those are steep numbers for the tier, and they are peak season specific. Visit in May, September, or winter, and the same rooms cost far less. For value, look beyond hotels entirely. Short-term rentals are common here, with a typical Anchorage listing around $85 a night, well under the summer hotel rates. Budget travelers have a hostel option too. Dorm beds run near $45 a night, a rare sub-$100 choice in an expensive summer city. One tier is simply missing here. Anchorage has no true 5-star hotel, so luxury seekers should reset expectations toward comfortable rather than opulent. So, here's the zone recommendation by traveler. First-timers and couples should book downtown, drivers chasing value should look at Midtown, and day trippers should consider Spenard. Anchorage's real attraction is that wilderness begins at the city limits, so most of what you should do here happens outdoors. The single biggest draw is Chugach State Park, a half-million-acre wilderness whose trailheads sit right at the eastern edge of town. The signature hike is Flat Top Mountain. It is the most climbed peak in Alaska, a steep but short scramble with panoramic views over the city and inlet. Just south of the city runs Turnagain Arm, one of the most scenic drives in America, hugging the water beneath steep coastal mountains. Pull over at Beluga Point along that drive. In summer, you can sometimes spot beluga whales in the inlet and Dall sheep on the cliffs above. Back in the city, the Tony Knowles Coastal Trail is the must-do that requires no car at all. It runs 11 paved miles along the water. That trail is Anchorage in miniature. You get moose sightings, distant views of Denali on clear days, and easy access from downtown at Elderberry Park. For big green space closer in, Kincaid Park and Far North Bicentennial Park offer miles of forest trails where moose and even bears are common. The city's cultural anchor is the Alaska Native Heritage Center. It is the best single place to understand the state's 11 major indigenous cultures. Downtown holds the other essential indoor stop, the Anchorage Museum, which combines Alaska Native art, state history, and a planetarium under one roof. Aviation is a genuine Anchorage specialty. Lake Hood is the busiest seaplane base in the world, and the Alaska Aviation Museum sits right beside it. Families have solid options here too. The Alaska Zoo focuses on northern species, and it is a reliable few hours with kids of any age. For a rainy day with children, H2 Oasis is a large indoor water park, and the Alaska Botanical Garden is an easy, calm outing in summer. Wildlife is nearly everywhere, but Potter Marsh on the city's south edge is the reliable spot for birds, salmon, and the occasional moose. Here's the key point about Anchorage. The best experiences are often day trips, and the city is perfectly positioned as the base for them. Seward is the classic. Take the train or drive about 2.5 hours to reach Kenai Fjords National Park and its glacier cruises. Whittier, through a one-lane tunnel, opens up Prince William Sound. Glacier and wildlife cruises here run shorter and often cheaper than the Seward options. Girdwood, 40 minutes south, is the ski town escape. In summer, ride the Alyeska tram up for alpine views and hiking above the tree line. For the Denali dream, the train or a motor coach makes it a long but doable trip. Many visitors give it a dedicated overnight instead. Now, let us turn all of that into concrete itineraries, starting with the Traveler Anchorage Suits Best, the Outdoor Adventurer. For the outdoor traveler, 3 days, built around trails, water, and one big day trip captures the best of the region. Day 1 starts at the Glen Alps trailhead by mid-morning for the flat-top mountain climb, allowing 2 to 3 hours up and back. Come down for a late lunch downtown, then spend the afternoon walking the flat, easy first few miles of the coastal trail. Day 2 is the Turnagain Arm Drive. Leave after breakfast, stop at Beluga Point and Bird Point, and reach Girdwood for the Alyeska tram by afternoon. Day 3 is the big one, a full-day trip to Seward for a Kenai Fjords glacier and wildlife cruise, roughly 6 hours on the water. The second profile is the first-timer who wants culture and scenery without hard hiking, and 2 focused days do the job well. Day 1 belongs to the Alaska Native Heritage Center in the morning, budgeting 3 hours for the exhibits, dancing, and the outdoor village sites. Spend that afternoon at the Anchorage Museum downtown, then have an early seafood dinner within walking distance in the compact downtown core. Day 2 is a scenic driving day. Head down Turnagain Arm to Portage, visit the Wildlife Conservation Center, and watch for belugas and Dall sheep along the way. The third profile is the family with kids, and Anchorage is surprisingly easy for this if you mix animals, water, and short walks. Day 1 is the Alaska Zoo in the morning, then a flat, stroller-friendly stretch of the coastal trail from Elderberry Park after lunch. If the weather turns, swap in H2 Oasis Indoor Water Park for the afternoon, which reliably burns off a rainy day with younger children. Day 2, drive to Portage Glacier for the easy boat tour, then let the kids meet rescued moose and bears at the conservation center nearby. Across all 3 itineraries, one rule holds. Anchorage is the comfortable bed and the good dinner, and the surrounding region is the main event. Anchorage food comes down to one thing above all others, and that thing is seafood pulled from the cold, clean waters around the state. Wild Alaskan salmon leads the list. Sockeye, king, and coho appear grilled, pan-seared, and smoked across nearly every menu in the city. Halibut is the other pillar, large, flaky, and mild. It shows up most famously as halibut fish and chips, a near-mandatory local order. Then there is the crab. Alaskan king crab legs are the splurge, sweet and enormous, while Dungeness crab offers a more affordable version of the same pleasure. Beyond seafood, Anchorage leans into distinctly Alaskan proteins. Reindeer sausage is the iconic one, often served as a griddled reindeer dog from a downtown street cart. The wilder end of the menu is real here. You will find moose chili, smoked salmon spread, and akutak, a traditional Alaska native whipped berry dish. Do not skip the baking traditions either. Sourdough pancakes carry a genuine Gold Rush lineage, and wild berry pie uses foraged salmon berries and crowberries. One local sweetener is worth trying. Birch syrup, tapped from Alaskan birch trees, tastes darker and more savory than maple, and it turns up on menus. Craft beer is a serious part of the scene, not an afterthought. Alaska has a deep brewing culture, and Anchorage is its center of gravity. Local breweries anchor the nightlife too. Names like Midnight Sun, King Street, and 49th State pour distinctive beers, and the classic Alaskan Amber is on tap almost everywhere. Geographically, the food splits between two clusters. Downtown holds the higher-end seafood rooms and the visitor-facing restaurants along and around 4th Avenue. The other cluster is Spenard, and it is where locals actually eat. This funky corridor holds beloved spots, including a famous brewpub and pizza institution. That Spenard brewpub deserves its reputation. Moose's Tooth Pair's house-brewed beer with creative pizza, and the wait on weekends tells you how good it is. Breakfast is a genuine strength, which travel guides often ignore. Snow City Cafe downtown and the Spenard Roadhouse both draw long, happy morning lines. Coffee culture runs deep in a way that surprises visitors. Drive-through espresso huts sit on seemingly every corner, and a good latte runs around $5 to $6. Now, the price reality check. A casual seafood main typically lands in the $18 to $30 range, which is elevated but not shocking. Dinner for two climbs from there. Expect roughly $60 to $100 at a mid-range spot and comfortably past $120 at the upscale seafood rooms. The value move is the street cart and the brew pub. A reindeer dog or a brewery pizza feeds you well for a fraction of a sit-down seafood dinner. One practical note on location. If you base downtown, the best restaurants are walkable, but the Spenard favorites are a short rideshare or drive away. Anchorage is not a cheap summer destination, and the real budget picture starts with accepting that lodging is where your money goes. Let us build 3 daily per-person tiers. And remember, these assume the expensive summer peak when most people actually visit. The budget tier lands around $100 to $130 a day. That means a hostel bed or shared rental, cheap eats, and walking or transit. At this level, you are eating reindeer dogs and brewpub pizza, skipping paid tours, and using the free trails that are Anchorage's best asset anyway. The moderate tier runs closer to $175 to $250 a day per person. This is the realistic middle for most visitors. That moderate day covers a share of a mid-range room or rental, a couple of sit-down meals, a share of a rental car, and one paid activity. The comfortable tier starts around $300 a day and climbs quickly from there, especially once summer hotel rates and guided tours enter the picture. At the comfortable level, you are in a nicer downtown hotel, dining on king crab and halibut, and booking the Glacier cruises and flight seeing without flinching. A few line items deserve special attention because they distort the Anchorage budget more than the national average would suggest. Lodging is the big one. Summer hotel rates here routinely run 2 to 3 times what the same tier costs in a typical lower 48 city. Tours are the second budget mover. A Kenai Fjords glacier cruise runs roughly $180 to $220, and flight seeing costs far more. Food sits meaningfully above the national average too, generally 15 to 30% higher, because so much is shipped or flown into the state. There is tax to factor in as well. Anchorage adds a sales tax plus a separate bed tax, pushing the effective tax on a hotel room toward 12%. One category actually breaks in your favor. Fuel is cheaper than you might expect for Alaska, so the driving that day trips require is not the expensive part. The single best way to cut the Anchorage budget is timing. shifting from July to May or September can nearly halve your lodging cost alone. To put that in perspective, a typical day in Anchorage runs about $175 versus about $150 in Orlando and $130 in Great Smoky Mountains, on the pricier side in comparison. Anchorage has two very different visiting seasons, and choosing between them is really about choosing between long daylight and the northern lights. Summer, June through August, is the obvious peak, and for good reason. It brings the warmest weather, the longest days, and full access to everything. The warmth is relative but real. Summer highs sit around 18 to 19 degrees Celsius or 64 to 66 Fahrenheit, which is ideal for hiking. The daylight is the true headline. Around the June solstice, Anchorage gets roughly 19 hours of usable light, and it never gets fully dark. Within summer, June is the sweet spot. It is the sunniest and driest of the 3 months, before the wetter weather arrives later in the season. August is the trade-off month. It is still warm and green, but it is noticeably the wettest stretch, averaging around 9 rainy days. The shoulder seasons are the value play. Late May and early September bring mild, bright days with thinner crowds and meaningfully lower prices. September adds fall color to the mountains, though it comes with a catch. It is one of the rainiest months, so pack for wet weather. Now, the completely different trip. Winter, and specifically February and March, is the season for the Aurora, skiing, and Alaska's signature events. Do not picture endless darkness for that winter window. By late February and March, the days are lengthening fast and are often strikingly sunny. The cold is real, but manageable. February and March highs hover right around freezing, near 0 Celsius or the low 30s Fahrenheit. Cold, but not extreme. 2 events make late winter special. Fur Rendezvous fills late February, and the Iditarod Sled Dog Race holds its ceremonial start in downtown Anchorage in early March. Summer has its signature event too. The June solstice is a genuine citywide celebration, and the downtown weekend market runs all season long. The season to avoid, if you have a choice, is deep winter. December and January are dark and cold, with under 6 hours of daylight. So here's the one-line verdict. Come in June for the classic Alaska summer, or in late February for Aurora and dog sleds, and skip midwinter. A handful of practical topics do not need full sections, but meaningfully affect your trip, so let us run through them efficiently. Start with safety, because Anchorage deserves an honest answer. Its violent and property crime rates run higher than you would expect for a city this size. Keep that in perspective, though. Downtown is fine during the day, and most visitor problems are property crime, not danger to tourists specifically. The practical move is standard urban awareness. Do not leave valuables in your car, be aware after dark, and a few areas near Midtown warrant extra caution. The bigger safety topic here is wildlife, not people. Give moose a wide berth, never get between a cow and her calf, and carry bear spray on backcountry trails. Money is simple, since this is the United States. Cards and mobile payments work almost everywhere, and Apple Pay and Google Pay are widely accepted. For cash, just use an ATM on arrival. Foreign card acceptance is high, though expect a per-transaction fee of around $3 to $4. Connectivity is strong in the city itself. Public Wi-Fi averages well over 100 megabits, and 4G coverage is good, though 5G is still limited. Here is the connectivity catch that matters. Cell coverage drops off fast once you leave Anchorage, so download offline maps before any day trip. On power, the standard American setup applies. Outlets are Type A and B at 120 volts, and brief power outages are occasional but rare. Healthcare here is excellent. Anchorage has world-class hospitals, easy pharmacy access during the day, and the tap water is safe to drink. One health note for the adventurous. Standard travel insurance often excludes glacier trekking and remote wilderness activities, so check your policy before booking those. Language is a non-issue, of course. English is universal. Signage is everywhere, and there is no translation barrier anywhere in the city. For international visitors, the entry rules are the usual United States ones. Confirm whether you need an ESTA or a visa, and carry your passport. On nightlife, keep expectations grounded. This is a casual craft beer town, centered on downtown brew pubs and 4th Avenue bars, not a late-night party scene. The art scene is better than the city's reputation suggests. The Anchorage Museum and the Alaska Center for the Performing Arts anchor a real cultural calendar. For shopping, the standout is Alaska Native art. Look for the silver hand seal, which certifies a piece was actually made by an Alaska Native artist. And the one only here fact worth carrying with you. Moose regularly walk city streets and yards, so a wildlife encounter here can happen on an ordinary sidewalk. Now packing, which matters more in Anchorage than almost anywhere, because the weather can shift within a single day regardless of season. The governing principle is layers, in every season without exception. Even a warm summer day can turn cold, wet, and windy on a boat or a ridge. For clothing, build around 3 pieces. Pack a waterproof rain shell, an insulating mid-layer like fleece or down, and quick-drying base layers you can stack. Add the small, warm items, even in July. A light hat and gloves are surprisingly useful on glacier cruises and early morning wildlife drives. For footwear, function beats fashion here completely. Bring waterproof hiking boots or trail shoes for the trails, plus comfortable walking shoes for the city. For gear, a few specific items make Alaska travel easier. Carry a day pack, a refillable water bottle, binoculars for wildlife, and sunglasses for the long, bright days. 2 more gear items are Alaska-specific. Bring strong bug spray for the summer mosquitoes and a sleep mask because the midnight sun makes hotel curtains useless. If you come in winter, the packing list changes entirely. Add a heavy insulated parka, thermal base layers, and slip-on traction cleats for the icy sidewalks. So let us pull all of this together into a clear decision about whether Anchorage belongs on your trip. Anchorage is best for the outdoor traveler above all. If you want mountains, glaciers, and wildlife within reach of a comfortable bed, nothing else compares. It is equally strong for the trip builder. Anyone assembling a broader Alaska itinerary needs a hub, and Anchorage is the most connected, best-equipped base in the state. It also suits the first-time Alaska visitor well. You get native culture, urban wildlife, and an easy on-ramp to the wild without roughing it. Now, the other side, because this city is not for everyone, and pretending otherwise would not serve you. Anchorage is not for travelers who want a beautiful, walkable city in itself. The urban core is functional, and the magic is entirely in the surroundings. It is a poor fit for luxury seekers and summer budget travelers alike. There is no 5-star tier, and peak season lodging is genuinely expensive. And if you are chasing nightlife, dense culture, or a classic city break, other destinations will simply serve you better than this one. Here is the value verdict in one line. For access to the Alaskan wild, Anchorage is worth every bit of the trip and the price. Just come with the right frame. Treat it as your 2 or 3 day base camp. Build day trips around it and time your visit for June or late February. That's our guide to Anchorage, Alaska. Everything mentioned is linked in the description below. If you are planning another trip, we have more guides waiting for you. And if you haven't yet, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Thanks so much for watching.